Hey yo, you better flee hops or get your head flown 3 blocks. L keep rappers heart pumping like Reeboks. And every year I gain clout and my name sprouts. Some brothers I'd still be large if the crack never came out. I got the wild style, always been a foul child. My guns go boom boom and your guns go pow pow. I'm known to have that hottie open. I keep the shotty smoking, front and get back to the bones and your body broken. And when it gets, oh man, this is too much. When it comes to getting nookie, I'm not a rookie. I got girls that make that chick Tony Braxton look like Whoopi.
Damn, look at that flow.
Whew, whew, big L, baby, big L. One of the
Bro, if you
best.
had a rapper name, what would your rapper name be?
I think back in the day when I was a kid, we used to call me AC Cooler.
AC Cooler?
Cooler. But I don't know about that one. What about you?
I'd say I'd probably have to go with P Money.
P Money,
P with a dollar sign.
dude. Big L. There's just that wasn't even the song that I was thinking about. There was another one. Well, we'll have to go at it next week. But yo, if you're not about that '80s, '90s hip hop, Big L, great introduction. Put it on. So put it on, Big L. Put it on. Put it on and on and on. I saw somebody drive with like an old school, like one of those like Cadillacs, like the lowriders. It was like
Mm.
such beautiful weather in New York, and I was like, damn,
And they
it's
had
taking.
those like big ass like silver spinny rims.
Yeah. And the engines just sounds like a freaking lawnmower. But man, New York City is back. Weather is finally weathering. We got 60s and 70s, which is awesome. How's everything by you, Peter?
It's good, man. Florida vibes, man. 75, 80 degrees year round for the most part. 1 or 2 months here gets a little chillier in Jacksonville, but yeah, the last 2 weeks has been hot for sure. Humid as hell, man. Walk outside, dude. I still remember the first time that I like moved down here and I walked outside. I was wearing glasses. My glasses immediately fogged up in the summer.
Oh
Just
my God.
yeah, that's how bad humidity is, man. But I love it, man. It's the good thing about it being so hot is you don't really need to warm up. You go outside and you're already warm. That's a warm up.
Yeah, right now I'm cooling off. I I'm not like the biggest Starbucks person. I'm a little bougie with the coffee, but we have a Starbucks right downstairs, so I got to get it. But I've been hitting this horchata oat milk shaken espresso.
I know
If you
exactly what you're talking about. I got that shit the other day too.
yo, it smacks. It's
It's
so
so
good.
good.
So I drink it now like every other day. I mean, it's not that much sugar. Like the calories are pretty low. But I was like, damn, this is genius.
Yeah.
Horchata espresso, like unbelievable.
Starbucks does a phenomenal job at just coming out with these like different seasonal flavors that just hey, they not only like sound and look really good, but they also like taste really, really good as well too. It's like, yeah, even though it's $7 to $9, sign me up, fam.
Yo, I know. Trust me, I emptied out my Starbucks rewards cards on this shit. They're like, what size you want? Of course, a fucking large. I'm emptying out these rewards, bro. I've been working on these rewards for the past 2 to 3 months.
Hell yeah.
Uh, but dude, such a good drink. Just got to throw that out there.
Well, dude, speaking of Florida weather, man, let's tell them about this live event we got coming up in August 9th and August 10th. It's going to be down here in beautiful, sunny Florida, Orlando.
Orlando, Florida, baby. We're gonna be dropping the link onto this Spotify episode or podcast episode. But dude, I think live events, one, they're just so much fun. Like I think to get a bunch of people together. We
Yeah.
just had our seminar this past weekend, and I'm buzzing. And people are usually like, "Are you tired?" I'm like, "No, like I'm ready to get after it." Like that energy just like pumps you up. You meet people doing things that like you want to be doing, and it's one thing to see it on the internet, but like another to like have a beer, to have a, like a run in the morning, or to have a coffee with someone in person, talking to them. And I'm not talking about just like Peter and I or Christy, like other people that are in this kind of ecosystem of one-on-one cash-based PT entrepreneurs and rehab chiros as well. I don't know. How do you feel after live events?
Dude, I could run through a freaking brick wall after live events, man. Like, yeah, there's just something about the energy, being around other people that are trying to achieve the same shit as you. It's just, yeah, I get always so super jazzed up after a single live event, and yeah, you just build a ton of momentum. going in. But yeah, throughout the years, through the different coaching groups I've been in, I would agree the same with you, man. Like being able to connect with people in person, even though you're for the most part you're connecting with people over Slack or via Zoom throughout the year, but being able to like shoot the shit with them in person, and even if it's like talking about business or playing ping pong or just catching up on like random stuff, it's really really great to have that like in person connection.
Yeah, so we're starting off the weekend. We're going to be going day one, just kind of little housekeeping, what to expect for the weekend. We're going to break down some of the itinerary right now in this episode. The first talk I'm actually going to be starting up, it's going to be called Content Flywheel. And it's how we post 45 pieces of content every single week, which is insane to think about. Because back in the day, I'm only posting one piece of content every single day on Instagram. Now we manage a lot of different accounts, and I've got someone that's helped me streamline all of that. And 45 pieces of content don't even count newsletters, blogs, and other miscellaneous things that are being created. But the content flywheel is freaking dope. And it's a slow, essentially going to create a systematic approach to streamlining your content and producing more content and making better content as well. I give you guys a preview of like what we've been doing in the clinic. I have a YouTube video that goes out every single week. With that YouTube video, it gets spliced into YouTube Shorts. It gets spliced into content. It goes into Moment PTP. I have another person in our team that watches the YouTube video and puts it into a blog post. All the H1, H2s, and all that fancy keyword stuff. So now I create one long form piece of content, and I have two people that essentially help me create a bunch of pieces of content with it. But I'm super hands off now with the content aside from shooting it. And one thing I realized is like these things just compound. People want to create content for 3 to 6 months, and then that's it. But you've got to be doing this for 3, 6 for the rest of your career, essentially, or have someone at least responsible for it, because every single brand that you buy things from creates content, and I'll tell you that much.
What are all the different platforms that your team posts your stuff on now?
So one daily Instagram post for my personal page, PTP, Moment Education, GGC. One YouTube short for GGC on YouTube. One YouTube short for Moment PTP on YouTube. One piece of YouTube content per week. One blog. Now we're going to start pumping out per week. A TikTok video every single day. I think that's all we got right now.
Dude, that's fire.
But it's a lot, but it just goes out there, right? I'm not writing any of these captions. People are like systematizing everything, and drafts are created. If I need to look at and review stuff, they'll let me know. But for the most part, just a shit ton of content's going out there now.
Do you think you ever will get to a point where you're looking at 2x that? Like I think like Hormozy and like some of the other bigger guys' team, they like pump out like 2 to 3 pieces of content, kind of similar to that, but on every single platform multiple times a day.
I think the one thing that we would try to do before we pump out even more volume would be to make the quality better.
Yeah.
Like currently right now, like working with like different ways of opening and closing the YouTube videos, working on different ways of introducing myself or whatever I'm going to talk about on Instagram. And I think focusing on the quality and like creating a not necessarily the template, but like a framework on like how to create better videos. It's hey, every single week we're gonna try new things. Every single month we're gonna look at these stats and have some sort of system in play. But dude, one of the VAs that's helping me, he's like posting our stuff on like Facebook groups to help us get more exposure. He's like, yeah, there's a bunch of groups where people are in pain, and like I think these videos would be so useful. Do you mind if I start sharing them there? I'm like, get
Hell
after
yeah.
it, let's go.
Bro, I will say, I feel like those like neighborhood watch mom groups, like if you can get in there and build some rapport and trust, dude, like those Facebook groups will crush.
Huge, 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 huge. The thing that I'm excited for the weekend, right, is like we're not going to be hitting you with presentations all day long. We're going to be having some breaks. So we roll into like 10:15 to 10:30. There's a break, and then we go into our next presentation. And Christy's going to be rocking this one. So Fix Your Money 101, how to systematize your finances and tax strategy. Peter, talk to like how this talk alone will probably give you a ton of ROI.
I would say probably Multiple, three to four X ROI, man. A lot of times, as PTs coming in, we don't really understand how to maximize profit. And I think at the end of the day, like in order for you to be in business and to continue to be able to serve people, you need to have profit and you need to be able to consistently like generate cash flow, right? And understanding how to allocate these funds appropriately on a weekly and monthly basis is super key, just to give you like a very clear idea of like, hey, where's all my money headed towards? And really, it kind of allows you to kind of sleep safe at night, right? But yeah, understanding that, and then tax strategies, man. Like if we can understand how can we give as little money as possible back to Uncle Sam at the end of each year, right? Like there's just a ton of different deductions that you can take as a business owner to really kind of help you be efficient with your money, and whether it's putting it back into the business and or writing it off for different expenses that you're already using for the business, but you're not necessarily aware that you can actually write off. So ton of really, really good insight from there. I think like last year I was able to write close to maybe like 50K off in terms of like business expenses and stuff, right? So one's a really good one that we'll get into is the Augusta rule. So if you own your home, right, you can basically rent out your own home back to your own business, and that allows you to deduct a ton. I think it's up to 14 days a year max. But little things like that just allows you to save a ton of money in terms of taxes. But at the end of the year, right, if we can basically come out to like a wash even, so that you're basically paying $0 in tax returns back to the IRS, and then that's the goal. But yeah, Chris will be diving deep into that, and I think if you can save some tax on your tax bill, then this event will basically be paid for
Exactly.
multiple times. You guys could probably pay for 20 of these events.
And honest, that's the goal with anything we do, right? It's not like you never want to create a product and sell something and you get like a one-to-one multiple.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to create something and really, really be successful in business, like you want to sell something where people get multiple returns on that initial investment. Like if someone joins our group, we've seen like 10 to 20x
Dude,
multiples
we need to actually sit down and do the math on this, because the return on investment is just absolutely insane.
in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
So,
But
um,
yeah, I mean, like right after that, we're gonna roll right into that and kind of give you guys like an insight from our own current members in terms of like, hey, what has their experience been like so far? So we're gonna have a live panel of a couple of our different members that have been in our group. What their experience has been like, what has been their ROI on the program so far, and hopefully, that way you guys can actually ask them any kind of questions or concerns that you guys might have about, hey, like, what's it like joining a program? Or are these guys a bunch of scam artists? Or are they legit? Because for the most part, you guys probably only know us through our like karaoke and stuff. But if you guys can ask some of these guys who interact with us a little bit more on a weekly basis, they can give you some insight into what the program's like, what you can expect, and everything.
no, for sure. The thing there's always an elephant in the room, right? And like people don't want to admit this. There's really two reasons why we're doing this live event. Because we spend so much freaking time with the people that we're mentoring that we want to kick it in person. And the people that we're mentoring all freaking seem to love each other. We're always fucking rooting for one another. And they want to kick it in person, so we're throwing this live event. Second thing is, we'll be completely honest. If you enjoy the live event, you love the vibes, and you know that you're getting a huge return on your investment, you should probably join GGC. And that's what we're trying to do. We're giving you guys a sneak peek of what we do. None of these lectures in itself will be like strictly to sell you on us. We're just funneling so much value to you guys. And you'll grow so much within these 2 days that you'll just feel like, holy crap, I can't wait to be a part of this. Tell me how to sign up, because that's how you got to lead, right? You got to lead with value. We're not going to come in and be like, all right, guys, open up your wallets. We want you to join GTC. No, you already paid us. And then from that, we want to show you that we can give you everything that you're looking for, right? And if not, then during some conversations, during breakouts, we'll be able to point you in the right direction. At the end of the day, we just want you to win. Doesn't matter if it's with us or with somebody else. There's just so many physical therapists that don't get to do the things that they want day to day. And we're trying to create, a different route for people.
Yeah, for sure. Also, too, like if you guys do want to join, just a heads up, you guys will have to go through a last minute application process through a karaoke song. and you got to be able to pick a song, jam out for at least 30 seconds, and then we'll grade you and see if it's good enough for you to let you in.
Yeah, and based off of how we've been singing, the bar is not that high. So 12 to 1 afterwards, after the live panel from our mentees, lunch is going to be catered by us. We'll just be kicking it, hanging out. From there, we get back from lunch, and Peter takes it over for the remainder of the day. We've got sales conversion blueprint, how to get people excited to buy.
Yeah.
Talk to us, Peter.
It's all about sales for the afternoon. So hopefully you guys enjoy sales as much as I do. If not, it's totally fine. But yeah, sales is something that I've dived in very deeply into over the last 2-3 years. It was always something very big that I felt like was missing tremendously in a lot of the other coaching programs that I've been through. And really what we've kind of seen is, sales has evolved, especially as you're trying to scale like a sales process throughout multiple team members and try and standardize that, is that you really need to find a way to get your prospects excited to buy, right? Like how can we convey so much value and information and clarity for them, so that way at the end, when the time does come to pitch, can we pitch with confidence? Can we pitch with clarity so that they have all the information sitting there in front of them? A lot of times I think physical therapists, right, they feel super slimy with sales. And I know like one of the ways that I, kind of got around that, and the way that I was taught at the very beginning was just like, hey, like if you feel icky with sales, just like create a package sheet, and just literally don't say anything, just like, hey, here are your options, and that's it, right? But that used to work maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, but sales has evolved tremendously. People need a lot more information. They need to be spoken to with conviction, with clarity, right? And that's really where, if you can dive a little bit deeper into the subjective part, right, and asking a little bit of those deeper questions to drive more urgency, to drive more, to help them understand, hey, like I need to move forward today versus in the future. You pair that along with conviction that, hey, this is the right plan. When you portray the exact steps for them on the pitch, then there's no way that they won't buy. A lot of times that we've realized is that, people can see the value in it, but if they don't have enough urgency, right, they won't necessarily see like the reason that, hey, I need to move forward today versus in the future. And then when it comes to, portraying enough clarity for them when we're pitching the plan, a lot of times, I know I was very guilty of this in the past. I would just like have all these progressions up in my head, and I would just be like, yeah, you're going to need, 10 visits, 10 weeks to progress from point A to point B. And in their head, they're like, well, what the hell are we going to do in these, 10 weeks, right? And so if we can portray a very systematic step-by-step progression for them, it allows them to see, all right, sweet, this is exactly what I'm going to do from week 1 to week 2. This is what's going to happen from week 3 to week 4. And then if they have all that information, then it gives them a lot more, clarity. Hey, like I feel very safe and confident that this is the right provider with the right program and plan for me moving forward. So that's like going to be the first half of it. And the second half is all about objection handling. And so common things that we may hear, such as like, hey, this sounds great, but let me go check with my spouse, or let me talk with my spouse. Let me go back and check my out of network insurance benefits first. Make sure that they, are you guys, that they're able to cover at least some. Let me think about it. Let me check my finances, right? How do we effectively, handle these things, whether it's proactively and or if it does occur afterwards? Do we have like an appropriate workflow that we can kind of follow that triages the appropriate steps afterwards, so that we get some sort of outcome afterwards as well too. So yeah, I love jamming about sales, man. But yeah, we've got a full afternoon all about sales objection handling, and then most importantly, can we prevent these things from occurring in the first place?
I just had to read the title because I put this shit through ChatGPT and that shit was so fire. Sales Objection Alchemy. Turn resistance into revenue using conversational judo.
Bang, bang.
Oh,
Conversational judo. That's all it is.
but Peter, I think you're gonna crush that one because one, you're one of the best people I know in sales, but we've been in so many similar groups before in the past, and the main thing I think that we realized over time was like we're good at sales when a person's ready to already hand you over money. Right? It's the warmest lead ever. Your sales are so good because you've only relied on like word of mouth, but you haven't done anything related to like talking to someone in ads. Maybe it's like DM conversations and outbound, doing things more outbound. All of these things are they're necessary if you want to grow bigger beyond yourself. right? Can you build a business if you're just strictly relying on word of mouth? Yes, but chances are you're probably only going to be able to fill your own schedule. You'll never be able to fill another provider's schedule. If you want to also be able to create multiple locations, you're probably going to have to do things like ads. And when you start to have colder traffic coming through your websites, coming in and inquiring about your services, you've got to be able to have this like conversational judo kind of moves.
Yeah. If you can sell to cold traffic, like you can sell to anybody. And at the end of the day, like sales is service, right? So if our goal is to be able to help as many people as possible, then we have to be able to effectively sell.
From there, going into open Q&A, there's going to be a ton of questions with the things related to sales. So we'll probably be starting off with the sales Q&A and then anything related to stuff from day one. The Q&A stuff is what people make out of it. But honestly, anytime we've done any sort of open Q&A for presentations or with our group, there's just so many good questions. And I love Q&A sometimes more than presentations because like you get to break down someone's situation and you get to see how somebody cooks, right? A little nuance here and there. So you'll be able to see some live coaching, which is awesome.
Yeah, we'll do some live role play. That's something that we do on a weekly basis with our own current cohort of mentees. They'll come in, pretend to be like a lead, bring up like a common objection that they maybe perhaps have dealt with in the previous week, and we basically role play it out, right? So we can kind of show you guys, hey, like how can we effectively handle it live? So I think yeah, it's going to be a blast. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Love it, love it. And then we're ending the first day, a little happy hour and light bites. And this is the best part.
It
Listen,
is.
we're going to be crushing these presentations. But there is nothing like getting a bunch of people together, these little jack meatheads, crushing a couple of light beers, hanging out, and just being present with one another. Like that's my favorite part about these weekends. You learn some stuff, you're amped up, and then you go to like a happy hour, and there's always like one or two, three people that you meet, have some really great connections with, and like that's what happens. Like before Peter and I were in GGCs, like we would just call each other randomly throughout the year just to check in with one another and like you build some amazing friendships because entrepreneurship's lonely, right? Chances are you're in a close friend group of maybe 5 to 10 people that you grew up with, and you're the only entrepreneur, and no one understands what the hell you're going through. They're just like, "Yo, Peter never pulls up anymore. What the hell?" Like, or like, "Oh man, like, dude, you're just so busy. Can't you just like cancel that and like go on this like trip?" And like, people just don't understand what it's like to build a business. There's freedom that you're working towards having, but that freedom doesn't necessarily exist in the beginning stages of business. And when you're in the beginning stages of business and you're working more than before, people are like, "Why are you doing this? This is so ridiculous. You're working too much. You're working too hard, et cetera, et cetera." And I think having someone with you in the damn trenches when you're building the life of your dreams is awesome.
For sure. And I would also say too, I always come out of it always very motivated as well too, especially when I'm able to like converse with other people that are maybe just a little bit ahead of me, right? Gives me kind of something to chase, right? And also kind of like I'm able to kind of chat with them, be like, hey, like how did you, get from here to here? Like what are some problems that you're dealing with now when you're at this stage revenue? So being able to, chat with other people that are a little bit ahead of you in revenue, it's a really, really great opportunity to kind of just give you some insight, and then it always gets me motivated as well too, right? Always level yourself up. Like I'm always looking to be in a room where, I'm not the smartest person, and a lot of times like these live events allow you to be in that environment.
Love it, love it. Day two kicking off. My homie's pulling up. Daniel McKenna just had a 10 extra mindset. He's someone that's gone through so many ups and downs in the industry, and now he's built a really successful business himself. But one of the most positive people you ever meet. I might need to get a translator there because he's an Irish dude. Accent is heavy, so I might just be on the side translating just in case guys can't understand the Irish accent. But Daniel is just a freaking gentleman, absolute stud of a human being. Not a single person that I know that has met Daniel doesn't say like great things about him. But you'll see what it's like to interact with someone that's got this like unbreakable mindset, super super positive person in general, and he'll just tell you like it is. Like we probably FaceTime each other once a week, and by the time I end of the call, he's like, "Just don't be a bitch." Like it's just like you just want to like run through a wall. But he's got that effect on people, and I think I don't know. I'm excited to have other guest speakers, different perspectives, people that aren't necessarily physical therapists. Because honestly, like sometimes clinicians can be kind of soft, you know? They don't know what it's like to be a trainer in like a big box gym and you got to fucking fight for some leads and some packages. Like you build scars quickly as a trainer. You get rejected quickly as a trainer. You don't necessarily get rejected that much, you know, as like a clinician until you build your own practice. So talking to a coach or a trainer that's done this for so long, you know, like a New York sports club, like it puts things into perspective.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's always cool when you listen to other people's stories because, I'll be sitting here like feeling bad for myself, and then I listen to some of their stories, and exactly what you said. It's like, damn, like I actually don't have it that bad at all.
Yeah. There's a great quote. If everyone put their problems into a big circle, right? Everyone in the world put their problems into a big circle, you'll be quick to just grab your own problem back and take it.
Hmm.
Right? Meaning, once you realize that like other people are throwing their problems in a circle, you're like, oh shit, people have got it way worse than me. I want my problems back. This isn't that bad. And sometimes perspective like that is super, super powerful.
Gives you a sense of appreciation. I know, yeah, like a lot of times people are always comparing, right? Like thinking, hey, the grass is always greener. But a lot of times, like it really isn't.
Yeah. Just be happy that there's grass.
Yeah, exactly, right. Let's feed in our own pastures.
But
Um,
you know, people are like, you know, cup half empty or half full. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm just happy to have a cup. Like,
yeah,
I'm
I'm
just
just happy I got something to drink out of.
this is a dope cup.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah, we break into Peter's next specialty in his little Rolodex. What do we
Paid
got, Peter?
ads, baby. Oh man, paid ads, paid ads. Specifically Meta, Instagram, Facebook. So paid ads is something that same thing. Once I kind of really understood, like, hey, wasn't really able to scale past, myself and another clinician with just word of mouth and local events. It was something that I leaned into heavily, and man, like it's been a huge learning curve, man. Been through multiple different agencies. I was even somebody at one point where I was like, yo, Facebook ads just don't work. I'm getting like a ton of like shitty leads in, like, I don't know what's going on. But it's something that, I've really kind of taken the time to really dive a little bit deeper into and, try and master as much as possible to myself. And so, yeah, I'm really excited to kind of, break down, hey, what are like the top leading strategies that we're seeing right now inside our clinics to be able to kind of dive that down, break that down for you guys moving forward. Yeah, different funnels, different automations, different sequences, speed to lead, all these different things that go into not only just generating a lead, but how do we actually get these leads to show up and convert into a paid evaluation? That's kind of like what most practice will run into as you kind of slowly start to scale up paid ads. Like for us, we run anywhere between 10 to 15K in paid ads on Facebook every single month. We consistently generate around 3 to 4x ROI. And I think one of the big mindset shifts for me at the very beginning was like, hey, you got to pay money to make money, right? And I know, like at the beginning, I was always viewing marketing as like an expense and not necessarily like a proven ROI. And so, hopefully, breaking down some of these strategies so that you guys are actually able to get a little bit of a better insight as to, hey, like if I have a proven funnel that I can optimize, if I can give Facebook or Meta like $1 in every single time, I can predictably get back $3 to $4 on the back end if I have the right sales process set up in place. And really, at the end of the day, like that's probably one of the more predictable ways you can continue to scale and grow every single month. So yeah, super excited to get into that. I know a lot of people have been burned before with paid ads in the past, and yeah, Andy can definitely speak a lot about that. And it will vary region to region, but at the end of the day, right? Like you look around in your town, like somebody is running paid ads, and they're probably generating a net positive ROI from it. That's why they're consistently still running it. And so if they can do it, like why can't we? Especially when we have a really good product and solution. So if we have a really good solution, we have a really good product, like we have to let more people know about it. And paid ads is one of the easiest ways to kind of fast track that.
Yeah, when Peter said burn, it's like I still feel it, bro. I still feel it. It's like I think
Scars are
what
there, baby.
2023 probably lost 40 G's in one year. Just like not just paying for the ad spend, paying for someone to teach us all that stuff. Two different groups, and it sucks. It freaking sucks. So things that we're learning now are just way ahead of where we were at before. And there's so much strategy that goes around paid ads
Yeah.
and things that I think you need to check off and be able to do, right? Like there are certain people that I think they're going to open up shop and go paid ads immediately. And we say this all the time. It's like, that's probably not the easiest lever to pull initially, right? Unless you're absolutely dialed in, tons of testimonials, copywriting is awesome. You got the CRM and all that stuff taken care of. So like these people are getting nurtured, but you can easily make a ton of mistakes with setting up the ads, with the things that happen after someone, submits their information. But after that, we'll go into a Q&A because there's definitely some questions that you've got to be able to ask, or there's definitely some questions that you'll have in regards to ads. And then we got our GGC Q&A, which is, pretty much opening up to our team. And then we got lunch catered by us again. We're just catering lunch. Um, that is going to be an awesome morning. Fast forward to the afternoon, we got Sales Ninja Framework, how to sell before you sell. So much of what we do here at Moment personally is just making sure that the client understands their problem, has some urgency behind why they need to fix this problem, how it'll relate it back to their goals. And, I presented this past weekend to PTs for our Moment education stuff, but I said, hey, when you guys are communicating with patients, stop telling them what is going on. Ask them a question and have them admit that they understand what's going on, right? Like if I tell you, hey, Peter, your left side's so much weaker than your right side, that's going to be different than, hey, Peter, can you feel the difference between your left and right side? Then it becomes a conversation and Peter will say, yes, I can. And that becomes internalized. And there's just little nuances like that that allow people to understand that like they have a problem that you can help them with. But anything that you like on that kind of lens, because we talked about, obviously in day one we're gonna be talking about objections, but there's so many things that you can do before you actually tell someone to commit to a sale to handle some of these objections ahead of time.
Yeah, it's like why learn how to, or sorry, why handle objections if we can just avoid them altogether, right? It's like you're playing the game on hard mode, right? It's like a lot of times on social media you see all these like really cool like reframes and stuff for objection handling, but it's like, man, it's hard, and it's a lot of times it's frustrating kind of navigating back and forth. And so if we can kind of get them on the same page as us by using these little tactics, right? Like helping them understand and come to the conclusion like, hey, I need help. And it's like little tactics, like exactly with what you said, right? Like asking these questions so that they are basically verbalizing to themselves that, hey, like this is exactly what's going on, versus if we were to tell them, hey, like what's going on. So yeah, if we can kind of streamline that, then it'll just make things a lot smoother moving forward when it comes to the sales process.
Finish the day, we'll have a break, and we're gonna be talking about developing the best asset that you have in your business, and that's fucking you. And I'll be talking about that, what that journey kind of looks like. I think oftentimes people stagnate in pretty much anything that they do after about year 2 or 3. They feel like they've either got the answers or they don't want to keep pushing themselves to learn and develop. Whether you're a clinician, an entrepreneur, in any industry, I think that year 2 to 3 mark, there's so much friction to continuously growing and building. So, we'll be talking about the journey a little bit from there, and then we got closing remarks. But 2 days, dope presentations, going to be amazing people, dope food, awesome spot. I think in the hotel itself, there's like a little tiki bar, some pools. Like we're gonna have a good ass time.
It's gonna be dope vibes all around. And yeah, we're gonna be like right next to Disney, you guys. So the event's gonna be on Saturday and Sunday. But for those of you guys flying in and out of town, definitely recommend maybe get in a day or two early. Hit up Disney, Universal, get you some rides in and stuff. I know Andy will probably give you some recommendations. He was just there 2 weeks
Listen,
ago.
Guardians of the Galaxy, bro, and Disney was fire. Rite of passage, I think, for Avatar, Disney was fire. But Chrissy's already said that we're going back to Disney when we go there. So we're gonna be going to one of the parks, just to kick it, and probably for like a full day. Don't know what we're gonna be doing yet, but when you come into Orlando, I think you might as well, right? Hit up a Universal if you're a Harry Potter fan.
Be there. Yeah.
There's Disney, there's Universal. Maybe go to a Magic's game. Oh no, it'll be Summer League by then. or we might have some preseason. I don't know, in August. I don't know yet, but there's a ton of stuff to do. Amazing food options. Had some fire Cuban sandwiches there in Orlando. There's some good spots in downtown, right?
Yeah, some dope coffee shops. I know. Yeah, my brother actually lives in Orlando, so when I visited him, maybe like about a month ago now, one of the trends down there is, they'll bring in like a live DJ at a coffee shop on a Saturday in the middle of the day, and people will show up and rave, man. So who knows? Maybe you can pull up to a coffee shop rave, throw down if you're into some EDM and stuff.
What are you looking forward to the most?
I would say just connecting with people, man. Yeah, regardless of the location, it's always, yeah, just being able to, shoot the shit with people, other cash physical therapy business owners who are looking to grow and scale. It's always, yeah, it's always the thing that I look forward to the most. And that, and I would say, dude, like, who knows? I know we keep talking about it, but that karaoke, man. People are down to throw down with us, throw down some vocals, some beats. I think that'll be a really good time as well too.
Yeah, that's there's gonna be something weird about like fucking giving somebody a hug, and I'm like, yo, I've been seeing your fucking face across the screen every single week, and that's just gonna be so dope. But yeah, I think nothing. I'm excited for like that happy hour after the first day
Yeah.
because it's like a full day of learning. You get to talk to people. What you learn, what you get out of this. Hey, what do you do? That mixing and mingling is awesome, and I think our we've got 50 total spots. I'm assuming almost half of those are going to be taken already soon. So we've got about like 25 spots open to people. Um, that might change because we're onboarding more and more people until August. But if you are interested, pull up. If you are like, hey, I already know that I'm going to be doing Go Getters coaching at some point, then sign up now for Go Getters coaching because you'll get access to the live event for free. We're going to be doing multiple live events throughout the year, probably not more than 2 a year now until we dial the system in. But yeah, when you're part of the community, you get free access to the live events. And if you're like, hey, I might as well do it now, this will be the cheaper option for you because you'll save on the ticket. But if you're like, hey, still on the fence, that's perfectly fine. Like, we completely understand. Joining Go Getters is a huge investment. And if you're like coming to a live event, getting a feel for y'all, because you guys are just, two Asian kids singing on Spotify, my Spotify podcast, and you want to see the nitty gritty, you want to see that we are about it and we're legitimate people and we could talk the talk, walk the walk, all that stuff. Live events where you want to be.
Yeah, I would say a lot of times whenever I'm kind of scoping out like big investments in terms of coaching, and if they do have some sort of live event, that's always something that I'll check out first, just because it is fairly lower commitment compared to kind of the entire investment, and it also gives you like a sense into, hey, like what's the overall vibe like of the people in the community here? What are they about? What's like a quick glimpse of some of the strategies and stuff that they're teaching? But I think at the end of the day, for me, one of the more important aspects of like a coaching group, obviously aside from like the strategy and stuff like that, is really, what's like the community and what's the overall vibe of the people like. So I think, yeah, if you guys are kind of like, been listening to podcasts, you like what you hear, this is a really great way for you guys kind of, get along with us, kind of check us out, see if we're your cup of tea, and if not, then it's totally fine, right? But if it is, then it's a very great kind of like low pressure way for you to kind of check it out and see what it's like.
Yeah, the weekend itself, I can almost guarantee you'll make multiple times your money back with that weekend. Like, you really only need to be able to use some of the tactics and strategies and overall framework to close one big ticket thing, and boom, you got your money back already. So pull up, chill with your boys. It's gonna be a good ass time. We're gonna be in Florida. A couple of tiki drinks here and there. Cater lunch 2 days in a row. Amazing presentations. What more can you ask for, Peter? Is there anything else?
Go sign up.
Are you
Link
gonna
in
bring a
bio.
Are you gonna bring a trampoline for the breakouts?
Dude, I don't need to, man, because it's gonna be like super low stress like the entire time. So I think I'll be good without the trampoline for this weekend.
Yeah, no trampoline. Maybe we'll schedule a workout. Who knows, right? We gotta throw a little
We
friendly
have
fight.
to. We have to, man.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. But guys, if you're interested, I'm posting the link on Spotify episodes. This will definitely be on our page on Instagram, and we'll have a little sign up link for the Go Getters Instagram bio. And then, yeah, limited spots. We're not going to open up to more people because, again, this is our first one. We want to make sure that everyone gets undivided attention. We got to make sure that we do this thing really, really well before we start to do, 100 plus. So if you're interested, you want to be one of the OGs, let's get this money, baby.
Cool. Keep crushing it, y'all.
Let's get it.